All right, so I need some kind of cooling for the motor, and I think what I'll do is take this hose from the O'Reilly, and I don't know, it was something like this, and then I cut it in half. By the way, Gates part number 22940, and the one end is just big enough for the water pump and turns the right way, and the other end, this guy, just big enough for the water neck, thermostat housing, whatever you want to call it, and faces the right way. So now that I got both of them pointing in front of the car, the next thing I need to do is hack something together so that I can hook these up to a garden hose to the other side of the hoses. And I got this guy, which should screw into here pretty good. And I'll probably need a hose clamp on it as well, but the point is it fits. That's a nice tight fit. And make sure I'm using the right end on this one as well. Yeah, this is the part I cut. Same deal. I'll screw these in. All right. So that now gives me some plastic to work with. I got a bushing and this guy. I now have a threaded fitting that I'll accept the end of a garden hose. And just in case, and I'm pretty sure I'll need it, I bought some valves that'll screw into here as well, that'll screw in line, and that'll let me control the temperature based upon water flow. So what I need to do now is glue these two together. Take this out so it doesn't get accidentally glued. And I probably don't have the right glue for this, but it's all I've got, so hopefully it'll work. Get this stuff out of the way. Too many different things going on. All right. Primer. Clean up the inside. It's good. And we'll clean up the outside of these. Oh man, stuff will get you high. All right, both ends are clean. Get a good amount of glue in there. Good amount of glue in this. And we'll stick these two together, give them a good twist. It's all slick. All right, that should be good. That's in all the way. So that's that. Do the same on these. Should clean that off a little bit. All right, so now I've got hoses, radiator hoses, to standard size threaded fittings. And I'll put some Teflon on these. I don't think it's going to matter, but just in case. All right, Teflon tape. Teflon tape. A few wraps of Teflon tape. Give these a good tightening. Hopefully my wife will leave and get rid of that background noise. Alright, that's nice and tight. And that one's nice and tight. Yep, this one will fit. Alright, so this will be the bottom. It doesn't really matter which way this orients, does it? I don't think it matters. Make sure that's on there evenly. Alright. Hopefully that works. And this will be the top. Orientation shouldn't matter. Will it fit? Let's see. Where are we at? How's that? Should be good enough. All right. All right. All right. All right. Dead bug. Put this guy on here. Bad orientation. Is it? No. You turn it that way. All right, that's a snug fit. Definitely get the hose clamp on it. Yeah, I don't like the way this hose clamp is sitting. It's way too close to the pulley. So, take it off, flip it around, and that should be much better. That's much better. That's good. So now I have a hose inlet. That looks decent. Now we need a hose outlet. Let's slip this on this way. All right, so there's the outlet. Now, with any luck, I should just be able to run cold water through here, have it exit here, and that should keep it cool. So I need to put in a temperature sensor because, well, I never put one in. I think I'll tap off of, yeah, that should work. So, I keep coming around the wrong side here. So I'll take out this plug. If I can find my ratchet. All right, I'm gonna need a bigger ratchet. Apparently that thread sealant I used is pretty damn sticky. Let's try this again. There we go. need to see if this is a, I guess you would call it a mechanical temperature gauge, meaning there isn't a sensor with wires coming out of it. It's a pretty long probe. I want to make sure it fits without interfering. It looks like it might. Slide this nut all the way down. So I'll just put this in loosely for now, to make sure it doesn't bottom out. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, there's plenty of depth in there. So I'll end up using whichever of these two is thinner. And do I have the right size wrench? Yep. So I get that one. And not even close. What do you say, maybe 9/16? Now I got the right wrenches. So which one of these is thinner? Maybe it's which one will open? I think that's a thicker one. Nope. All right. Honda Bond 4 it is. Just put some of this on the threads before I put them in. That's more than enough. All right, it wasn't more than enough. It was way too much. Jesus, what a mess. All right, I need to clean that up. Well, I think I know what Spider-Man used for his webs. This stuff's insane. I'm just making a mess, an even bigger mess, by getting it everywhere. All right. Good enough there. Put a little bit on this guy. Yeah, this time like really just a little bit. That's good. I forgot to clean out my socket. Okay. It's good and tight. Good and tight. Well, the camera was off. I hooked up the battery. Got the fuel tank hooked up. And set up the water lines. So we got garden hose hooked up on the other side of the wall. And the return is going out to the grass. So the water's on. but not opened to the motor yet. Open it up to the motor, check for leaks. And sure enough, I got a leak. It's leaking right here. See if I can tighten that up a little more. I'm not sure this is going to work with those threaded fittings, but we'll give it a try anyway. All right, let's see if I fixed it. I don't think so. I've got the top one closed, so I'm kind of pressurizing the block in a way. Still have a leak. And there's air purging out of the garden hose. All right, I can hear air hissing up here, so this is going to leak as well. All right. Well, I think I found the chink in the armor. It's definitely these threaded fittings. This one's still leaking pretty good. I mean, if air is coming out, it's definitely going to leak water. Yep, leaking up here. Well, that was interesting. Good thing it didn't hit me in the head. Huh. Let's just say that was not tight. That was just air pressure. I guess you could say that was a close call. Let's try this again. I can't believe that just popped out like that. All right, so I guess, well, I need a towel that I'm soaking wet. Everything's wet. That was interesting. Let's get this tightened back up again. So I guess in all fairness, I think our water pressure is somewhere around like 80 psi or something. And with this closed off like that, you know, I'm putting way more pressure in through this cooling system than it normally would see. I think normal cooling pressure relief valves are, at least for small blocks, are somewhere like 16 psi or something like that. So let's not do that again. So we'll leave this open, slightly closed, I guess. Let's open this guy back up. And it's already dripping. There isn't much pressure in there. All right, this may not work. We'll give it a shot anyway. Yeah, that's dripping pretty bad. I'll turn this down. All right, I think there might have been too much back pressure in here. Unless this cracked. I don't think it did. All right, so I've got water exiting the outlet. And it's not even going to register on the temperature gauge yet. It's too cold. But I don't even think this one's necessary. There's probably enough of a restriction in here. This valve down here I think will control my temperature more than anything. Get this water off of here. Well, let's see what happens. So I'm getting, what are we? About 30 psi oil pressure, and it's idling at about that's a little better. I really need to adjust those idle screws. I'm below 500 RPM. That's at 500. Still not registering a temperature yet. So we'll back these screws out until we get a good strong vacuum. That just feels way too rich, I can smell it. Alright, so we're at like 500 RPM now, turning the fast idle screw. Just make sure that... Alright, that's where we are. Still not getting a temperature reading, but there's plenty of water coming out. It's getting slightly warm. I feel that's idling a bit high. Let's bring it back down a little. All right. That's making it worse, so let's lean it out a little bit. Vacuum's increasing. Still burning off some oil from yesterday. Let's close off the water just a little bit, see if we can get some temperature rise in the motor. I think that's just cooking off from yesterday. I don't see any more oil coming out. Vacuum's getting a little stronger. Still got good oil pressure. Temperature's still not registering. Vacuum's kind of all over the place. Oops, off a little too much there, I think. All right, let's leave it there for now. Temperature's starting to come up. Yeah, I think that's just cooking off. Well, I do still have a leak. Yeah, it's dripping on the exhaust. About 600-700 RPM. Temperature's climbing pretty good. Let's get some more water through here. To 200. See if we can bring that down a little. Let's open this up all the way. It's dripping pretty good. All right, temperature's coming back down. No more drips up here. Temperature's back down to 180. Let's close this off just a hair. Man, this is leaking bad. All right, we got to shut it down. Turn that off. All right, so these fittings just can't take the heat. I was afraid something like that might happen. Yeah. Got too many threaded fittings. And not to mention they're plastic. So that's not helping much either. They just can't take the heat. All right, lesson learned there. Still stumbling a little bit. And I think my camera's about to die from overheating. Even though it's not in the sun. Are we still recording? It says it's still recording. All right, let's see where the leaks are coming from. It's not looking good. Not looking good at all. This is going to be a hot mess. There isn't much oil in here. It's still cooking off from yesterday, I think. I don't see it puddling up anymore. So that one's good. And I've got what looks to be a pretty decent leak down at the bottom. Not sure what's going on there. Well, it seems even the DJI is overheating. It's not even in the sun. All right, let's see if I can find this leak. All right, so I think it's a valve cover again. I mean, kind of to be expected, I guess. That seems to be where it's coming from. And it's just dripping down the side of the block. I'm sure that's not going to fix it, but it's worth a shot. Path of least resistance. All right, so what can I do about this nonsense? Need something stronger, can handle the heat. Well, right now it's sitting at 180, and maybe 185-ish. Well, that made a pretty good mess. This stuff's just not going to handle the heat. I mean, yeah, it's just not going to work. The fitting's already stripped. It's not doing any good. That's no bueno. In fact, this is starting to separate. It's coming apart. Not the bueno. I'm afraid this may pop off while it's full of hot water and end up all over me, which would be bad. I'm not sure why it was stumbling either. Let's bring a little more water in here and cool stuff down a little bit. Why was it stumbling? Well, good news is I don't have any smoke coming out of the tailpipe. So the head gasket seems to be good. Although there really isn't much pressure. See, it's already leaking. That's not good. Already. Yuck! God. See, that's what I was afraid of. This fitting just fell right off from the heat, just as my hand was under it. Jesus, that was hot. Yeah, this fitting can't take the heat. That may leave a mark. All right. Plastic jury rig was a failure. It leaked, it broke. Bad idea. Can't handle the heat. So, went to another big box store. See if you can guess which one. And this time I got all metal stuff. So, which end was which? That was the end that I cut. So this is all metal, all threaded. And I can't peel the price tag off, but whatever. All right, so shove this guy in here. That might have been premature. Oh no, we'll see. And I got some thread sealant. So my plan is, I'm going to go through this. Just trying to be cheap. Cool. So, adapter sitting here. Chemicals. All right, here's what I got. From the electrical aisle, this is a 1-inch, some kind of threaded fitting. It fits just right inside the radiator hose. Really nice snug fit. So it's 1-inch thread. This is a 3/4. It's 1-inch bushing. Then we need, and by the way, these fittings aren't cheap. Some of them are $10 each. Alright, so then this is 3/4 nipple, which then should take the hose fitting. Of course, you need a swivel. So now I got hose fitting, it's radiator hose. Now I'm gonna put a bunch of thread sealant on this stuff. See if it'll come out. Perfect. Perfect. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Absolute work of art. And I missed the trash can, so now it's all over the floor. Channel locks. Okay. All right. This will probably make a mess. Terrible bad. Take this guy off. It's useless. Good. Alright, so I need a shut-off valve. This is what's going to regulate my temperature. So that needs to be in place.